now, baseball fans, and most importantly, my fellow Cubs fans, guess what time it is? It's the most wonderful time of the year! Postseason is upon us. The first wild card game starts tomorrow night, and I am psyched. I'm actually really excited for almost every single team that is in the playoffs. Almost because nobody likes the Dodgers. No, nobody. If you do, I know Chris, I know you do. But other than Chris, nobody likes the Dodgers. And Grandma, may you rest in peace. Big time Yankees fan. The only thing we had in common was we both loved Andy Pettitte. Other than that, it's the Yankees. But hey, Joe Girardi wants a Cub, always a Cub. Anyway, I am surprisingly good at picking who's going to win. I've only done one season, though, where I've picked from the bottom up. That was 2004, in case anybody's wondering. My dad thought I was some sort of savant that year. But we're going to go ahead and pick up. And even though I'm not doing a Cubs Real Talk, I figured, you know, it was still needed to be called for to, you know, have our beer. Today we're having America, also known as Budweiser, because we're saving the old styles, because, you know, superstitions and stuff. Superstitions. It's been a long day. I needed that. Anyway, we're going super low tech, super old school, with poster board and my terrible writing. Bask in the glory. So, I'm going to make this quick, because who really wants to listen to somebody talk about their picks? Unless you're ready to fight with me in the comments about it, and I indeed am excited to hear what you have to say, especially when you hear one of my picks is going to be quite controversial. So, we're going to save the National League for last. Let's start with the American League, the surprising American League. The only truly non-surprise in this would be Boston. That was a give-me. People were going to be surprised if they didn't make it. And Cleveland. Actually, I'm slightly surprised that Cleveland got in. Because usually when you make it to the World Series, your next season is pretty Debbie Downer. So I love their manager. If the Cubs had not won the World Series last year, I couldn't think of a better team to lose to. Terry is awesome, and he did a great job out there in Boston. Yep, 03, we were watching. I was on the street. Go Bo Sox. We wanted Cubs Bo Sox so bad. Anyway, I'm going to start with the wild card game because that's the first one coming up. And hey, two surprises, right? Two surprises. The Yankees, nobody thought. Rebuild seasons. I think they were going to be terrible this year. And then the biggest Cinderella of them all coming to the ball has to be the Minnesota Twins. 100 losses last year to the playoffs? Ooh. Oh, it's kind of a tough choice too, because my gut is telling me that if you've made it this far after going down 100 losses and then making it to the postseason, most people would say, oh, that team's going to choke. I'm sitting here like, this team's hungry, and they're playing for something. But at the same time, the Yankees on Saturday, and the way they've been duking it out and battling it out and trying to take first place away from the Bo Sox, they're a formidable match, and it is in their house. So, where do we go? Do we pull at the drawstrings? Do we hope for the Disney ending? Do we pick the Twins, or do we pick the tried and true Yanks? And I didn't plan this out clearly, so I'm going to go with my gut. And you know what my gut's telling me? My gut's telling me it ain't the Yankees. I'm saying Twins are going to fly the W, and they're going to go to Cleveland. Which leads me to Twins versus Cleveland. It's going to be a massacre. It's going to be a massacre. And it's going to be all the tribe, all the time. Man, that team. Woo! That team. Yeah, it's going to be a massacre. Twins, your Cinderella season is going to end in Cleveland. But it has been a fun year, hasn't it? Moving on up, we've got our tons. Boston, Houston. Boston, Houston. Well, let's see here. Last year for Houston was quite the surprise, especially for me. I figured they were playoff bound in 2016. I was all in. I was ready for Houston versus the Cubs. For realsies, I wanted an excuse to go meet Orbit because every Cubs fan, apparently along with me, we love Orbit. Orbit's the bomb. He's amazing. So we were like, yeah, how awesome would that be? We all have an excuse to go to Houston to go meet Orbit. Didn't happen. Boston has kind of had their ups and downs this season. And it is all in Houston, eh? Well, it's an easy choice for me. I'm all Houston all the time. Hashtag Houston strong. But we're going to leave that sit and simmer for a minute. We're going to come on over to the National League before we make final decisions. And we're going to start with the wild card game, which is the Rocks versus the D-backs. Ugh. Man, there's so much West Coast going on in here. Ugh. That said, Rockies have really been skidding, eh? They've been skidding, scuttling, and not playing too good. They didn't play very well the last few games. They're not showing me anything. I kind of think that the Diamondbacks should edge them. But then we have the fan factor. And I'm a big believer that the fans really push their teams over the edge, except for with the Yankees. They in their heyday in the 90s, they would win even though they were at half capacity. So part of me thinks that the Diamondbacks are going to lose simply because fans aren't going to show up to the ballpark, because they haven't shown up to the ballpark all season. Do you know that some bleacher tickets have been going for like $5? $5! And you can't sell out the bleachers. It's a pretty sad state. I'm kind of to the point of, do the Diamondbacks belong in the great state of Arizona? We're an awesome state, but we're a snowbird state, and nobody's going to come and cheer on. But I know as a Cubs fan, we all want the Diamondbacks to go all the way until they meet the Cubs, because we want an excuse to see the game here locally in Arizona. But when it comes down to it, even though the Rocks have been skidding, and even though I don't think they have as strong of a team as the Diamondbacks, I think that it's time for them to get hot. And in this one-game playoff, I picked the Rockies. Yeah, I know. I'm either going to be way right or way wrong. That said, moving forward, whoever wins this wild card game, guess what? Big upset. Big upset. They are losing to whoever wins the wild card. Your wild card winner, team beats LA. They do. They beat them to death. So then that brings us up to the big show. Who's better, Joe Madden, or is it going to be Dusty Baker? This is the showdown I wanted last year. I was like, how cool would it be if the last manager to get us to the brinks of the World Series, Dusty Baker, went up against Joe Madden, who, in the final battle down for the World Series position. I was so psyched for that, it wasn't even funny. But last year, I was certain we were going to beat the Nats. Don't kill me, Cubs fans. I'm a gambling woman. And we don't have the team to beat the Nationals. Especially since this isn't going for the World Series spot. I really don't think it. I hope to God I'm wrong. Oh, I'd love to be wrong on this one. But it's with great pain I picked the Nats to beat the Cubs. So where does that leave us? Who's going to the World Series? Who's beating who? I've got Cleveland versus Boston. I've got the Nationals versus the Rockies or Diamondbacks. National League's an easy one for me. All day long, all season long. I know that you don't count the regular season. You throw it out the window, and I'm a big, big believer in it. That's how I pick every Super Bowl but 2. Kurt Warner. You're my 2 losses. Anywho, I say the Nats are going to World Series. All day long. All day long. And then when it comes to Houston versus Cleveland, I think that's going to go the distance. Or almost. And we're going to go with in 6 games. This is going to be quick. This is going to be 5 games. Boom. Nats in. Houston, though, I think they're going to put up a little bit of a challenge for Cleveland. And I think Cleveland's going to see some long games with them. And they're going to get a little worn out. But I see Cleveland repeating and going back to the World Series. So that leaves us with Nats versus the Tribe. Who's it gonna be? Who do you think? My heart wants to say, I want to be giving, and I want to give it to Cleveland since we totally stole it from them last year. But at the same time, I really think the Nationals have something going for them, and Dusty Baker has yet to win a World Series as a manager. So, do I give it to my old manager, to whom I still love, or do I give it to the tribe and end a drought in Cleveland? It's actually really hard. I think it might actually go 7 games. We need to consult beer. Beer says, I'm a National League girl until I die. And I'm going to go with the Nats. Win the World Series. And we're going to get stuck with a whole year of Bryce Harper everywhere. Ugh. Anyway, this is my crazy board right here. And this is mostly for posterity, because, you know, who's going to watch a crazy girl with red lipstick talking about baseball when you are thinking this is a jacked up thing? But let me just say, that should this all come to fruition, this will be documented in my YouTube forever. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more from me, don't forget to hit subscribe. And if you want to be notified every time I post a new video, don't forget to click the bell. Please leave some comments below because I love reading every single comment, responding to all of them, and I want to hear your picks. Thank you kindly, and you have a great day. Cheers.